Gun violence in America has reached alarming levels, leaving a trail of tragedy and shattered lives in its wake. According to the Gun Violence Archive, in the past 9 years alone, there have been a staggering 330,000 shootings. This epidemic has had a particularly devastating impact on young people aged 1 through 19, with gun injuries emerging as the leading cause of death in this age group.
The Gun Violence Archive has now tracked 632 mass shootings so far this year in the United States. That's significantly more mass shootings than there have been days so far this year,
resulting in 597 deaths and 2,380 injuries. Shockingly, the South has witnessed the highest number of mass shootings, with a staggering 1,898 incidents. The toll is relentless, sparing no one, regardless of age, ethnicity, or proximity.
What we are doing here is just designed to appeal to Democratic primary voters. The bill won't make our schools safer, it will hamper the rights of law-abiding citizens, and it will do nothing to stop mass shootings. We need to get serious about understanding why this keeps happening. Democrats are always fixated on curtailing the rights of law-abiding citizens rather than trying to understand why this evil happens. Until we figure out the why, we will always mourn losses without fixing the problem.
Gun violence has plagued America for centuries, despite attempts to curb its devastating impact through legislation. Bills have been passed to address these accidents, but the problem persists, causing harm to innocent lives. The lack of enforced and regulated gun laws in the South has made it a hot spot for these incidents. A comparison with other high-income countries reveals that the U.S. has more guns than any other nation. A 2022 study indicates that the homicide rate in teens and young adults is 49 times higher in the United States compared to Europe and Asia. States with higher gun ownership levels also exhibit higher rates of homicide. The urgent need to prioritize children's lives over the right to wield weapons that harm them is evident.
There will be committees formed, there will be meetings held, there will be proposals that will be derived, many of which will lead to laws that will be passed in the state of Texas. Because let me make one thing perfectly clear. The status quo is unacceptable. This crime is unacceptable. We're not going to be here and talking about it and do nothing about it. We will be looking for the best laws that we can get passed to make our communities and schools safer.
To create a safer environment, several measures must be taken. Sensible gun laws designed for the public good should be passed. Establishing a culture of gun safety involves limiting firearm access to individuals at risk of harming themselves or others. Holding the gun industry accountable through oversight of marketing and sales is crucial. Mandatory training and licensing, along with secure gun storage, can significantly reduce accidents. Community safety plans, focusing on prevention and intervention, play a pivotal role. Initiatives like a lifetime commitment to violence prevention, the Alameda County Blueprint, provide a framework for comprehensive, community-driven strategies.
While some states restrict the purchase of long guns, including assault weapons, until the age of 21, Texas and federal law allow those guns to be purchased at age 18. The Uvalde shooter asked multiple people to purchase guns for him before he turned 18, but fortunately, they refused. As soon as he was old enough to legally buy the guns for himself, again 18, not 21, he purchased 2 AR-15 style rifles.
A proposed 28th Amendment aims to raise the federal minimum age for firearm purchases from 18 to 21, mandate universal background checks, institute a waiting period for all gun purchases, and restrict civilian access to assault weapons designed for causing harm. What are some changes you would like to see regarding America's gun control in the next 20 years?
Accountability, and I want it to be fair. And I just don't think it's fair that people can obtain guns without any real training. I've been trained. I know friends who have been trained, and they're responsible gun owners, and I know people who haven't. And so that's just my thought, because really most gun control laws just affect the people with guns. They don't really affect everybody else. That's why it's easy to vote on something that doesn't affect you. But the people who it does affect, it is challenging for them. And not everyone is good with a gun, so not everyone deserves one. That's my thought.
Some changes I'd like to see in gun control is more better background checks and a psychological evaluation.
In the next 20 years, I would like to see a lot of change to the whole policy of how people get guns. in this country. We need to see politicians act more to try and get changes for it. Government officials, obviously. A limit on assault rifles, I feel like that's a good place to start. You could obviously make a very large case for assault rifles being banned. There's really no use in having one unless you are killing multiple men at a time, which I don't think anybody has to do, especially when such things as shotguns exist for home defense, which is what they claim they need it for.